All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about one of the most incredible adventures any human ever takes, that journey from being a newborn to a 1-year-old. It is a year of just explosive growth and discovery, and we are going to map it all out.
So let me just ask you this. What do you think is the most epic journey a person can take? I mean, is it climbing a mountain? Exploring the bottom of the ocean?
Well, what if I told you it might just be the one that happens in the first 12 months of life? Think about it. From a tiny, helpless newborn to a cruising, babbling, laughing little person, in this explainer, we're going to map that entire adventure one amazing milestone at a time. So, our map is built around what experts call developmental milestones, but I don't want you to think of them as some rigid schedule. Instead, think of them like signposts on a grand expedition, just showing the path that most of our little explorers take as they grow. This whole journey of discovery, it happens across four incredible interconnected worlds. You can think of them as different terrains your little explorer is going to navigate: social and emotional, language, cognitive, and motor. Let's break each one down. First up, we've got the world of social and emotional development. This is all about connection, how your baby starts to interact with you, how they show their feelings, and that first time they smile back at you. That's a huge landmark in this world, a major one. Next, we journey into the world of language and communication. And this starts way, way before any words. We're talking about those first little coos, the babbling, and even the nonverbal stuff, like when they raise their arms to say, "Hey, pick me up." Then there's the cognitive world. This is all about how your baby learns and solves problems, and they learn by being these tiny little scientists, exploring everything with their senses. So when they stick a toy in their mouth, it's not just about teething, it's sensory exploration. They're running an experiment to figure out what that thing is. And finally, the motor world. This is the physical journey. It's all about them gaining control over their own body, from that first wobbly head lift during tummy time, all the way to pulling themselves up to stand and look around their kingdom. Okay, so with our four worlds defined, let's start actually mapping the first part of the journey. We're talking the first 6 months, a time of incredible first discoveries. I mean, the pace of change in these early months is it's breathtaking. We're going to be stopping at three major signposts: 2 months, 4 months, and then the halfway point, 6 months. By 2 months, your little explorer is really starting to engage with the world. They're getting stronger, lifting their head, making new sounds. But the real game changer? It's that social smile. It's their first real back and forth, a signal that says, "Hey, I see you and I'm connecting with you." It's amazing. All right, let's move ahead to 4 months, and you can really see how this all builds. Now they've got so much more control, holding their head up steadily. They can actually grab an object you give them. And their communication is getting more complex with those adorable cooing noises, those soft ooh and ah sounds. And that smile, it's not just a reaction anymore. They're smiling just because. And now we hit the 6-month mark. Their actions are so much more purposeful. They're reaching for exactly what they want, they're rolling over to get a better view, and they're recognizing the important people in their life. And then there's this, that full, genuine belly laugh. Seriously, there's nothing else like it in the world. So now we're entering the second half of the journey. The explorer isn't just watching anymore. Oh no, they're on the move and they are gaining speed fast. Our map is now going to take us to two more major landmarks: 9 months and the big 1-year celebration. And this is where things get really active. Okay, by 9 months, your baby is a full-blown little scientist, just banging things together to see what happens. They can sit up all by themselves, which frees up their hands for even more exploring. We're also seeing the beginnings of language, with repeated sounds like mama, mama, and social games. Oh yeah, peekaboo is basically the best thing ever. And then 12 months? Wow, what a transformation. They're problem-solving now, putting smaller things into bigger containers. They're pulling themselves up to stand and cruising along the furniture. Those are the first real steps toward walking. They're saying names with actual meaning and using social gestures like waving goodbye. A whole year of discovery, and it all culminates right here. So, with a mobile explorer now on your hands, your role kind of shifts. You are now the official expedition guide. And because they're starting to move, your number one job is to make sure the environment is totally safe for discovery. So, how do you prepare? Well, this safety checklist is your guide. A great tip is to actually get down on their level and see the world from their point of view. First, lock up anything dangerous like chemicals. Gate your stairs. That's a big one to prevent falls. Make sure you've absolutely mastered car seat safety. Always, always put your infant to sleep on their back. And secure any cords on blinds or drapes. Those can be a really serious hazard. And here are some critical don'ts that are just as important. Avoid those infant walkers. Research actually shows they can delay walking and they lead to accidents. Never leave a baby alone in a car, not for a second. Temperatures can skyrocket in there. Be super mindful of hot liquids when you're holding them. And finally, avoid putting any necklaces or cords around their neck. That is a serious, serious hazard. Okay, this is an absolutely essential piece of gear for your expedition. I mean it. Take a moment right now, pause this if you have to, and put this number in your phone and stick it on your fridge. In the US, it's 1-800-222-1222 for poison control. Hopefully, you will never, ever need it, but you absolutely must have it. Now, after mapping out this entire amazing year, it's so important to remember the most important rule of this whole expedition. Every single journey is unique. This quote says it all perfectly. These milestones are just guidelines, okay? They're not a competition. Some little explorers take a bit longer to figure out certain terrain, and you know what? That is perfectly normal. So, as we finish this explainer, let's end with a question that brings it all back to the magic of the journey. Just for a moment, forget the charts, forget the timelines, and just watch with wonder. What discovery will your little explorer make next?